She looked me dead in the eyes, bracing herself, and said, "You can leave. I'm a single mom." She said it like she'd said it 100 times before. Like she was already preparing for the chair to scrape back, the awkward apology, the quick exit. What she didn't know, the man sitting across from her had been hiding the exact same secret. And that moment, it didn't end the date. It changed both of our lives forever. If you've ever felt judged for your past, underestimated because of your responsibilities, or made to feel like baggage instead of a blessing, this story is for you. Hit that like button, subscribe, and settle in, because this isn't just a love story. It's about rejection, fear, healing, and the most satisfying emotional plot twist you'll hear all week. Daniel hadn't been on a date in 3 years. 3 years since his wife, Rachel, collapsed in their kitchen from a sudden aneurysm. 3 years since his entire world split in half. 3 years of learning how to braid tiny fingers into shoelaces at 7 a.m. 3 years of bedtime stories spoken through a throat tight with grief. 3 years of pretending to be strong for his 5-year-old son, Tyler. The house still echoed at night. After Tyler fell asleep, the silence wasn't peaceful. It was loud, accusing, heavy. His sister Emma kept nudging him. "Rachel wouldn't want you alone forever, Dan." He hated that she was right. So one night, after staring at the ceiling for an hour, Daniel downloaded a dating app. That's when he matched with Sophie. Blonde, warm smile, pediatric nurse. Her bio mentioned coffee addiction and Disney sing-alongs. They messaged for 2 weeks. Conversations that stretched past midnight. Easy jokes. Shared grief, but lightly, carefully. He didn't mention Tyler. Not yet. Because experience had taught him something cruel. The moment women found out he was a single dad, conversations died. Ghosted. Unmatched. Or worse, sympathetic rejection. "I'm not ready for that level of commitment. You should focus on your son." As if loving his child disqualified him from loving again. They met at Riverside Bistro, a cozy Italian place with soft jazz and amber lighting. Daniel chose it because he and Rachel used to celebrate anniversaries there. Felt safe, familiar, almost sacred. When Sophie walked in wearing an emerald green dress, he forgot how to breathe for a second. She was beautiful, but more than that, she was present, engaged, curious. They talked about work. He explained digital marketing wasn't glamorous, just spreadsheets and analytics. "But the hours are flexible," he added. "Flexible for what?" she asked gently. He felt the word rising in his throat. Tyler. But fear pressed it back down. "Life responsibilities," he said instead. Her eyes flickered. Recognition. They laughed over shared appetizers. The restaurant hummed around them. For the first time in years, Daniel felt something dangerous. Hope. Then he made the mistake. "This place is special," he said. "My wife and I used to come here." The word hung between them. Wife. Sophie's expression softened instantly. "I'm so sorry. 3 years ago," he said quietly. "Aneurysm." Instead of discomfort, Sophie reached across the table. "My husband died 4 years ago. Car accident." Grief met grief. Not in pity. Not in drama. Just understanding. "It's hard trying to live again," Daniel said. "When half of you is missing." She nodded. "You're not the same person anymore." And for the first time, Daniel didn't feel broken. He felt seen. Dinner arrived. Pasta. Chicken piccata. Neither of them touched it. Sophie's fingers twisted her napkin. She inhaled sharply. "Can I tell you something? Something that usually ends first dates." Daniel's pulse quickened. "Of course." She lifted her chin slightly, like someone walking into expected rejection. "I have a daughter, Lily. She's 6. She held his gaze. Defiant. Vulnerable. "If that's a problem, you can leave. I understand. Single mom isn't exactly the fantasy." Her voice cracked on that last word. And Daniel saw it. The exhaustion of someone who had been dismissed too many times. I'm used to it, she added quietly. There it was. The injustice. 12 dates since her husband died. 12 men who smiled, until she mentioned her daughter. Then the watch-checking started. The polite exits. One man had actually said, I didn't sign up to raise someone else's kid. Like Lily was a burden. Like Sophie was damaged goods. Daniel felt something rise in his chest. Not anger. Not quite. Recognition. Because he'd lived the same humiliation. 8 dates. 6 ghosts. One woman who suggested therapy instead of romance. Another who told him he should wait until Tyler was older. As if love had an expiration date for widowers. Sophie waited for him to stand up. For the scrape of the chair. For the familiar disappointment. Instead, Daniel started laughing. Not cruelly. Not mockingly. Relieved. She recoiled slightly. I'm glad my situation is amusing. No, he said quickly, reaching for her hands. Sophie, I have a son. She blinked. Tyler. He's 5. Silence. You have a kid, she whispered. I was terrified to tell you. I thought you'd run. Her mouth slowly curved into stunned disbelief. They had both been hiding the most important parts of their lives, because the world had trained them to expect rejection. They sat there staring at each other, then burst into laughter that bordered on tears. It wasn't revenge in the traditional sense, but it was justice. Justice against every shallow person who had walked away from them. They pulled out their phones. Tyler in a dinosaur costume. Lily in a pink ballet outfit. Gap-toothed smiles. Sticky birthday cake faces. Their food went cold as they swapped stories. How many? Daniel asked. 12, she said. All ended when I mentioned Lily. 8, he replied. People are idiots. The worst kind. But here's where the story shifts. Because this wasn't just about 2 single parents finding common ground. It was about reclaiming something the world tried to shame them for. Their children weren't baggage. They were proof of love. Of survival. And anyone who couldn't handle that didn't deserve a seat at the table. As the restaurant began closing around them, Daniel leaned back. What if next time, he said slowly, we bring the kids? Sophie's eyes widened. You'd want that. Why hide the best parts of our lives? In that moment, Daniel felt something he hadn't felt since Rachel died. Not replacement. Not erasure. Expansion. There was room in his heart for memory and possibility. Under the soft streetlights outside Riverside Bistro, they stood awkwardly. You're not like anyone I've met, she said. Neither are you. Their first kiss wasn't fireworks. It wasn't reckless. It was gentle, careful. 2 people who knew exactly what they could lose, choosing to try anyway. On Saturday, they met at the Children's Museum. Tyler clung to Daniel's hand at first. Lily hid behind Sophie's leg. But within 20 minutes, they were chasing each other through a dinosaur exhibit. Laughing. Existing in a world where blended didn't mean broken. Daniel caught Sophie watching the kids. Her eyes were shining. This feels right, she whispered. And that was the real payoff. Not humiliation. Not screaming matches. Not public meltdowns. The revenge wasn't against a person. It was against every narrative that said widows and widowers should shrink themselves. That single parents were too much. Their happiness was the rebuttal. Their courage to be honest? The mic drop. Later that night, Daniel called his sister. How'd it go? He leaned against his kitchen counter, listening to Tyler giggle in the living room while showing Lily his dinosaur collection over FaceTime. I think, he said slowly, I just had the best first date of my life. And she's a single mom. Emma paused. And that's good. Daniel smiled. It's perfect. For the first time in 3 years, he didn't feel like a man trying to rebuild from ashes. He felt like a man stepping forward. Not replacing Rachel, but honoring her by choosing to live fully again. Sometimes revenge isn't destruction. Sometimes it's refusing to be ashamed. Sometimes it's looking someone in the eye and saying, this is my life. This is my child. Take it or leave it. And finding someone who says, I'll stay. If this story hit you in the heart, hit that like button. Tell me in the comments. Have you ever felt judged for something that should have been celebrated instead? And if you love emotionally powerful stories about justice, healing, and second chances, subscribe. Because sometimes the sweetest revenge is simply living well. See you in the next one.